The bar was a cavern of whispers. Smoke hung heavy, shrouding the patrons in a hazy anonymity. John, nursing a scotch, felt the familiar sting of loneliness. Then he saw her.
She sat alone, a figure as dark and alluring as the bar itself. Her eyes, when they met mine, held a strange, captivating light.
He offered her a drink. She accepted with a smile that sent a shiver down his spine.
My name is Lilith.
Her voice was like velvet, smooth and rich. They talked, or rather, she listened, drawing him out, unraveling his life story with a few well-placed questions and an even more captivating silence. He felt an inexplicable pull towards her, a feeling that transcended simple attraction. It was intoxicating, irresistible. He knew, with a certainty that bordered on madness, that he would follow her anywhere. Her apartment was sparsely furnished, dominated by a large ornate mirror. She led him to the bedroom, her touch sending a jolt of electricity through him. They made love with a desperate hunger, their bodies moving together in a primal rhythm. The next morning, he woke alone. He felt strange, different. Looking in the bathroom mirror, he noticed a slight change, a subtle softening of his features. He dismissed it as fatigue. Days turned into weeks, the changes becoming more pronounced. He was younger, his skin smoother, his hair thicker. He was terrified, yet strangely exhilarated. Lilith watched him, her eyes filled with a dark amusement.
What is happening to me?
He confronted her, demanding answers.
Don't you see, darling? You're becoming whole again.
Her words made no sense, yet they resonated with a deep, unsettling familiarity. He was trapped, caught in a web of his own desire, his body betraying him, regressing toward a past he couldn't remember. He was confined to her bed now, his once adult frame shrinking, his mind becoming that of a child's. He was terrified, lost in a world that no longer made sense. Yet there was a strange comfort in Lilith's presence, a sense of belonging he couldn't explain. Then he began to hear her voice, not with his ears, but within his mind. It was a low hum at first, a comforting vibration that soothed his growing terror. Slowly it morphed into words, whispers that spoke of ancient magic, of a love that transcended death, of a debt that needed to be repaid. He learned of her true nature, of her power, and of the terrible price she had paid for it. He learned of the child she had lost, a child she yearned to reclaim. He learned that he was not becoming a child again, but rather he was becoming her child. He was going to be reborn. The whispers grew stronger, revealing her past. Lilith, the outcast, the one who dared to defy the ancient laws. She had loved a mortal man, a forbidden love that resulted in a child ripped from her arms by jealous gods. She had learned to cheat death, to bend time and flesh to her will. She had found him, her lost love, reincarnated through countless lives. Each time she drew him to her, each time reliving their brief, stolen moments.
This time it will be different. This time we will have our forever.
He felt a surge of love for her, a love that was both his and yet not his, a love that echoed through lifetimes. He was now nothing more than a fetus curled within her womb. He understood. He had made a pact with her, a pact sealed with flesh and desire. He was hers, a vessel for her grief, her love, her vengeance. The day arrived. He felt her power surge around him, a tidal wave of raw magic. Her screams tore through the apartment, echoing his own silent agony. He was being pulled, drawn through a vortex of pain and blinding light. Then silence.
As a newborn.
He opened his eyes to a blinding white light, the cold air stinging his lungs. He was helpless, a newborn, completely at her mercy. He looked up and saw her, her face a mask of triumph and terrible joy.
Welcome back, my love.
But her voice, it wasn't directed at him. It was then he realized something was wrong. Terribly wrong. His tiny hands, they were small, delicate. He looked down at his body. It was small, soft. Undeniably female, she had twisted the spell, used her magic to not only reclaim her child, but to reshape it in her own image.
Now, my darling daughter, we begin.